You have $1,000, but you're scared to invest. You're not behind, you're unstructured. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to invest your first $1,000 using a 3-step method. My name is Dean the Wealth Coach, your go-to guy for building wealth. And I have built a $100,000 portfolio in under 2 years with a regular 9-to-5 job. So the first thing that I wanna show you guys is a method that I came up with called STOP. So that's STOP. And within that method, you need to first see the trap. So what's the trap? You want to see the trap. And what the trap is, you think that you need the perfect stock and you do all this research and you're like, okay, I need to find the next big Tesla or the next Facebook, the next Apple. That is a wrong approach. You need to start with what you're familiar with, and that is by telling yourself the truth. When you tell yourself the truth, you're going to stop trying to find the next big thing and you're going to work on what makes sense to you. The easiest way to start investing is start with what you know. And that's how I started. When I learned about the stock market, I thought that I needed to have every company in my portfolio. And that was a wrong approach because that left me with nothing. And I was just looking at companies and missing out on opportunities. Like I had an opportunity to buy Netflix when it was $80. Mind you, it did split. So if you want to adjust for the split, it was like $8. I could have Netflix at $8. It's now at $90. So you need to figure out what is it that you understand that makes sense to you. That's the easiest thing that you can do. What is it that you understand? And if this is something that you really want to get into, just look around you. The easiest thing to start with is your phone. What type of phone do you have? The majority of phones are publicly traded. There's the Google phone, there's the Samsung phone, there's the Apple phone. Those are the top 3 phones around the world. That's where you start. Who do you bank with? A lot of the banks are publicly traded. These are simple things that you can do to figure out what to start to invest in that you actually understand. We all understand what banks do, right? They take your money, they loan out your money, they give you loans, they give you credit cards. Straightforward, right? That's the approach that you want to take. You want to make this simple. And now with technology, it's so easy to find these things. You can literally go to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a list, or walk ChatGPT through your day and say, this is what I've done. Let me know what companies are publicly traded based off of this. Or can you give me an example of publicly traded companies that I use on a regular basis? Like even if you go to your kitchen or you go to the washroom and start looking at the labels on products that you use on a daily basis or food that you consume, you would find that, hey, this is a publicly traded company, and you can start researching them, right? So that's the first thing that you want to do. So you want to see the trap, tell the truth, and then you want to make one move. And your one move is you're going to make it simple, which is the 3 to 5 steps that I'm going to show you. And if this is something that you're really interested in and you're looking to be able to have back the freedom of your time, I left a time audit and money audit checklist down below that you can download for absolutely for free. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling with my words. It's just a new format that I'm doing. So just bear with me. Things take time. And in the stock market, things also take time. A lot of us think that we need to invest a lot of money, but no, you just need to start small, because once you start small, it grows over time. And I'm going to show you that just now. So the 3-step method is, the first thing is you're going to choose your lane. So I'm going to give you 2 options that you can choose from. So the first one is, so option A, you can do a broad ETF index fund. ETF. So broad index ETF. So what is a broad index, or what is an ETF? And it's I'm not even going to give you the bank definition or the jargon. An ETF is just a pool of stocks that are similar to each other. But when you're doing a broad index, it's like the whole market. So the whole market, an example of that would be the S&P 500. That's a broad index ETF. So I was taking all of the top 500 companies and wrapping that into an ETF. So that's something that's a broad index ETF. A small index ETF or a small ETF would be something like um, technology. So technology, Apple, Microsoft, Google, they would be wrapped into one. So it's reducing the amount of risk that you have on the table. And you don't really have to think about it because it's like, hey, I understand technology, but I don't know what companies to invest in. Okay, just buy the ETF. Now you're getting exposure to many different stocks or technology stocks within that ETF. And you can go to a site like ETF.com where you can look up ETFs in different sectors and see what's actually in those sectors. Or you can use yahoo.finance and it'll also give you a breakdown of the ETFs or what's in the ETFs that you choose. So once you do, that's option A. So option B is you want to learn. So option B, you're looking to learn. And with option B, you're just buying one strong company that you understand. So one company that you understand. And I'm going to choose the easiest one that we all understand. And I'm going to go with Google. Why I'm choosing Google? Because you're watching me on YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. You probably use Google search to find things. Like, did you ever think to yourself, the term, like when you're looking for something, what does somebody say to you if they don't know? Google it. We all understand Google. It's a broad thing. So we're going to go with Google. That's a company that you understand. You know, Google does search and they also do YouTube. So you have two different avenues to go with that. Plus they sell ads to people. So now you have that. And what you're going to do is you're going to split your $1,000. So for option A, so your $1,000 is going to get split. So for option A, you're going to do an 80-20 split. And for option B, you're going to do 70 ETF percent and then 30 in the actual stock. And that's in the one company. So you're getting exposure to the whole market, and then you're also getting exposure to that one company. The stock market is not a game of making it hard for you. It's simplicity. The easier you make it, the easier it becomes for you. You only need about 4 stocks to really invest in. You don't need 50 or 100, like unless you have that type of money, but you're not at that level right now. 4 is the max that you need. Why? Because 4 is something simple and it's manageable. Imagine having, okay, let's say you have 4 kids. Yeah, that's a bit difficult to manage, but now imagine you had 100 kids. That's super challenging, right? So you only need about 4 stocks. And if you have them in different indexes or ETFs or actual stocks, that's a good thing because now you're kind of diversifying. You're not just 4 stocks in technology because let's say technology is not doing well and all 4 go down. You don't want that, right? So just kind of putting your exposure in different spots. So once you do that, you're going to put money into either or. So if you do the 80-20 split, the 80-20 split is, oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Let's go back here. You're doing 100% into the ETF. So 100% into the ETF, or you can do 70% in the ETF, 30%. So this is option A and this is option B. So once you do that, you're going to put 100% in there. And then the third step, so this is A or 1, and this is 2, and then 3, do not touch for 90 days. I know that's nail biting, right? But the reason why you want to not touch it for 90 days is because you just want to have skin in the game. And buying stocks is a long-term game, not a short-term gain. That's day trading stuff. We're not thinking about day trading. We're just trying to buy back the freedom over time. And when you can put something in there for 90 days and not touch it, not panic, and sleep well, you're on the right path. Because buying stocks is not something that you just do once and then you stop. It's a consistent thing that you do. And once you get past this stage, that's level 1. Level 2 is now putting money in consistently. So remember when I said you don't have to start with much, you just start with a little? That 90 days is just to get you over the hump. Now the next thing you want to do is start putting in money regularly. How much can you contribute to that portfolio on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis? You want to choose a number. Let's make it simple. Let's just start with 10 bucks because you're new, right? $10. $10 every, let's say every week you could do. That's 52 weeks in the year. How much is 52 times 10? That's 500 and, or make sure I tell you that, right? $520. Sometimes my math is off. Bear with me. Yeah, $520. $520 you have at the end of the year. Now you may be like, great, but what can $520 do for me? Don't think of it in terms of what it can do for you. How much time can this buy you back? Let's say you make $25 an hour. $25 an hour, that breaks down to 20, we'll round it up, 21 hours you get back. 21 hours in 1 year. So 21 hours, that's about 30 minutes each week you get back to yourself. What could you do with 30 minutes free to yourself? You can get your nails done, go for a massage, enjoy a coffee, wake up half an hour later. There's so many different things that you could do. Now, you're maybe saying, that's only 30 minutes. But now imagine you could do $100. $100, that becomes $5,200, which then would give you, instead of 21 hours, you'd have 210 hours. 210 hours each week, that's 300 minutes. Who knows what you could possibly do with that? You could do so much. Let's say you want to take up swimming. Let's say you want to wake up late. Let's say you didn't want to go to work 1 week. You have $5,000 to do so. That $5,000 could expense a fully paid trip for you instead of putting that onto your credit card, which what most people do. With a credit card, you put $5,000. Let's say you do take that trip and it's $5,000 you charge to your credit card. How much interest are you being charged? Let's go with 22%. 22% annually, but they compound it daily, meaning you're charged every day. So a $5,000 trip, 22%, you're paying $1,100 in interest. And don't kid yourself, you know you're not paying that off right away. You're gonna take your sweet time to do it. And maybe you're only making minimum payments. This carries over to the next year, and then you're still paying it. You're probably paying an extra $600 right here. So now a trip that you took a year ago, you're taking 2 years to pay it, and you've been paying it down so slow that you ended up incurring a cost of $1,700. Whereas if you had the stock market and you use the stock market and you had that $5,000, you don't have to worry about this. It literally cancels that out because as you put money into the stock market, it grows over time. And you're playing the long game. The long game is to continue to let it compound. You don't want to say, okay, after 2 years, I'm going to sell it and go on that trip. No, you want to just keep building that. You're not going to see real growth until about year 3 to 4. That's when you're going to start to see real growth. And you're probably saying, I don't got time like that. If you're in your 30s or 40s, how much time have you let pass you without investing? So imagine if you started back in your 20s, what $5,000 would look like today. You got to get yourself out of that mindset of, oh, it's too late. I can't do it now. That's you adopting your current identity. You need to shed that identity and become the new person, the new version of yourself, the person that can withstand going through these things. And the whole purpose of starting with the 90 days and then consistently putting in there, you're building a new habit, you're building a new routine. When it becomes automatic, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And it just becomes easier and easier. That's how I started my journey of getting to $100,000 in 2 years. I said to myself, you know what? I wanted to own Apple and I missed out at least 3 times on Apple. And I was like, screw it. What am I going to do? I said, every time I get paid, I'm going to put 10% into the market. That's all I did. 10% of any earnings that I made, I put into the market. And then I went from 1 stock to 2 stocks to 4 and then 10 and then 20. And then I eventually got to like 130 something shares in Apple. And it became fun because I went from this little dot to this circle, then to this circle, to this circle, to this. You know how nice that looks when you can see $100,000 in your account? It feels amazing. Now you'll be like, oh, but I have 100,000. Now what do I do with it? You got to play the long game, and you got to play the game the way the rich do. You know what the rich do? They take their stocks. So let's say this is your stock portfolio, and it's worth $100,000. You know what they do? They don't sell this. You don't sell your stocks. Buy and hold forever. You go to the bank and you say, Mr. Banker, can I get a loan against my stocks? Now, you're saying, why would I do that? Because you get to hold the asset. This is still growing in value. You're borrowing the money, but you're going to use the money to make more money. Now, this is just more advanced, but I'm just showing you what the cycle looks like, because this is what the wealthy do. You know who did this? Elon Musk. Elon Musk took his Tesla stocks, went to the bank and said, can I get a loan against my stocks because I want to buy Twitter, which is now named X. The bank said, okay. So they lent him against his stock portfolio the same way people refinance their house to take equity out of their house to go buy rental property. You can do that in the stock market too. So instead of selling, let's say your house, you keep your house, but you take the money out and then you're borrowing against it. You can do the same thing with your stocks. Now you take that money out and then you go and you make more money from it. That could be starting a business. That could be buying a rental property. That could be buying more stocks. The possibilities are endless, but I just want to show you this approach on how you can invest in the stock market and help you buy back the freedom of your time. And if you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you do want help with the time audit and the money audit checklist, you can book a call down below. My name is Dean the Wealth Coach, your go-to guy for building wealth, and I'll see you on the next episode.